What is up, everyone? Hero276 here, and welcome to today's video, and welcome back to my channel. I'm very excited to showcase this OBSTAGOON double ghost team that I found on YouTube a year ago on the Foxiraptor's channel. I decided now that I finally have enough resources to invest in Frostlast that I'd give this team a go, and honestly, it works so well. My ELO went up 150 points, and currently I am 15-4 in using this team. So, huge shout out to the Foxiraptor. This team helped me a lot. I'll link his channel in the description below. But yeah, we decided to make a couple changes. I decided to run Fire Spin instead of Hex on my Alolan Marowak, so I have an easier time in matchups, like against this Wigglytuff, let's say. So there's less emphasis on the Fire Blast and more emphasis on the fire damage. So yeah, that's basically why I did it. And also our Goon runs Gunk Shot. And this is to help with just charm coverage. But yeah, that is basically it. Yeah, so let the battles begin. We have the OBSTAGOON Mirror, except we got hit with an Icy Wind. So the Icy Wind is going to debuff us, unfortunately. And then we can just wait for the OBSTAGOON to come low. They throw their energy. And I have a shield left, but I'm not going to shield because I think it's a Cross Chop. And it is the Cross Chop, so we just inadvertently caught a Cross Chop on our Frostlast, and at this rate we should be able to just shield once and get to an Avalanche, which is going to be super good for me. Now I'm kind of wary about the Goon's energy, so I decided to throw right away. I probably could have farmed up a little bit more, but I wanted to be safe. Plus I also know that the Drift Rim is basically energy dry, so getting to the Avalanche should be no problem here, and this is going to one-shot, of course. Boom! So good game 2, my opponent. Very well played. Let's hop right into the next one. I'm very excited for this. I got so excited, in fact, that as you notice, this video is a little bit longer. That is because it is 2 full sets. That's right, you guys. We have 2 full sets to cover. So this is awesome for us. So yeah, I'm hoping you guys enjoyed this one. It's something a little bit different, and it is my holiday gift to you. So anyways, we got the lead up against a Ufisk. We go into our Frostlast to hard counter it, and they come back in with an Alolan Golem. So at this rate, I'm going to go for double avalanches here. And at this rate, I'm 1 Powder Snow off, meaning if they overtap, I'm going to be able to get to an avalanche. So I actually take back switch against the rock type with an ice type. So that was very fun. They come in with a Pelipper. So it's going to obviously take big damage from this avalanche right here. That does huge damage. And now we could just come in with the Goon and farm all the way down. I decide to catch onto my Alolan Marowak, hoping that it's the Hurricane. And it is the Hurricane! That is massive for us! So we're in an excellent position. The Pelipper's basically energy dry. It's not going to even be able to get to a Weather Ball if we decide to counter it down with the Goon, which is looking like what we're going to have to do. So, for some reason we lose the CMP there. I have no idea how that happened. I think it was offset CMP? Yeah, I think that's what it was. We're going to go straight for this Night Slash, and it's going to do some nice chip damage to this Unova Stunfisk. At this point, I'm really hoping here for the boost so I can ramp up my counters. This time, we win an actual CMP and get off the Night Slash first. So that's going to be really good for me. No such luck with the boost. And the Ufisk is going to throw their energy. It's a discharge. So what? That's not going to do anything to me. The Pelipper decides to come back in, but 3 counters is enough to take it out. And at this rate, I have the Night Slash able to take out the Unova Stunfisk. So that is going to be a good game to my opponent. Very well played. And we will hop right into the next one on that note. Now, just for the record, little side note here, I hope that everyone has a wonderful holiday with their family. Whatever you celebrate, I hope you enjoy it and make the most out of the celebrations. Anyways, so we have a Frostlast lead against the Goon. We do have to be wary of Frostlast's moves. They safe switch in a Vigoroth, and I swap out a little bit too late into the Alolan Marowak. I was kind of hoping to catch a Body Slam, but I think my opponent anticipated the swap, and they went straight for the Bulldoze. which does super effective damage, but because Bulldoze is such a bad move that doesn't have stab, it only does about 60%, which I'm totally fine with. Meaning, they're going to throw Body Slam right here, and I really don't have to shield it because Body Slam is double resisted. So yeah, that's really awesome for me. We can just farm all the way down without losing a shield, and my opponent will not be able to get much farm in with whatever they decide to come in with. Let's see what they decide to come in with. It's actually going to be an Alolan Graveler, and I make a huge mistake. I over-tap. But we do have the Obstagoon that's doing big damage with the counters, and we get to the Night Slash. Unfortunately, my opponent does sneak a Volt Switch through, which is not great for me. But can we get to another Night Slash? No, we can't. So we are going to have to sacrifice that shield right there, and a Rock Blast would basically take me out from that range. This time we get to a Night Slash and successfully deny the Volt Switch, which is really good for us. The Night Slash is going to get to the shield, and we get to another one in time. This is going to be taking out the Alolan Graveler, and we have to see what they have in the back. And it's a Frostlass, and this is perfect for us because even though they're a Powder Snow ahead, we're up a shield, which means Shadow Ball will one-shot, so that's a good game. Alright, let's hop right into Game 4, ladies and gentlemen. We got Obstagoon against Superior. Now, despite being an above-average lead for us, I am going to swap into one of the harder counters. And we bait out a Lantern, which is very nice. Lantern would do really well against my backline, so I'm really glad that I swapped out because now I can align it against the Obstagoon. Shadow Bone still does good damage though, in addition to getting the defense fall, which is really huge for us. I forget what I do here. I'm going to let the Thunderbolt go through, so that's going to do some okay damage onto this Alolan Marowak. And because they're running Spark, this is actually a much better matchup for me. It's much more neutral, especially with the threat of the Shadow Bones. Now, they get to another move right here, but because I'm basically at the Shadow Bone, I either want all shields down or I want Switch. So I'm making the big play, going for no shields or Switch advantage. And I get both shields, which is super nice. We are unfortunately going to get farmed down, but we can just throw in the Obstagoon and be able to get some energy. They get to a Thunderbolt, but I'm okay because Obstagoon is very tanky. We do survive that Thunderbolt with ease. We have to see what's in the back, and it's a Talonflame. And we basically have to stay in here because Frostlass would lose this matchup pretty badly. So we're going to go for the Night Slashes, doing some chip damage. We get a counter through. Does this mean we're going to be able to get to back-to-back Night Slashes? We're really hoping for it. So, we get to the back-to-back Night Slashes, but at this rate, if it doesn't KO, I actually want to snipe with the Frostlass before they can throw. And we snipe with the Frostlass, and in the back is that Superior, and this is going to be a good game, very well played to my opponent because we get to the Avalanche. Even though they do get to the Frenzy Plant will not KO from this range because Frostlass is still pretty healthy. Avalanche will take out the Superior, and that is going to be a good game, very well played to my opponent. Let's hop right into game number 5 here. Alright, what type of matchups are we going to get here? Goon into Vigoroth. Probably the worst lead you can face in this cup. So we're going to safe swap into the Alolan Marowak to absorb the damage. And they come in with the Talonflame, and this is still a good matchup for us. Shadow Bones will be dealing some nice neutral damage, and I'll be able to get to them quicker than the Talonflame can get to their moves. Especially considering that Incinerate's a pretty long move with pretty long animations. So we get to the Shadow Bone once more, and this should threaten the Talonflame very much. At this rate, I think I am going to commit the shield because I want that switch advantage. I need to get this Talonflame out of here because of the Frostlass. And I'm going to overfarm a little bit, and I decide to go straight for that Shadow Bone. This has to KO. And it does. So the opponent decides not to shield, and Lantern is their third Pokemon, so Goon can just go against that. So I'm very glad that I won Switch because we still have the proper alignment that we want. Yes, we're going to get farmed down, but Obstagoon is tanky, so I can take any one move from this Lantern. Let's see what they decide to throw. It's going to be the Thunderbolt. That's going to do less than half. So I'm perfectly fine with that. And we're going to be able to outpace to these Night Slashes and put some pressure on this Lantern to shield. So winning switch there was very important because we got to preserve alignment. So that way the Goon didn't have to face off against the Vigoroth, and the Frostlass could stay away from this Lantern. Now, I do decide to preserve the shield and let the Goon go down because I figured Frostlass would need it more. Now, I call the Body Slam bait on the Vigoroth, and I'm going to try calling it again because I don't think that they can have a Bulldoze. It is just a Body Slam, and oh my gosh, guys, we preserve the shield, and we're basically at the back-to-back avalanches. That's going to get the shield. I'm going to farm a little bit more. And I think Powder Snow should be able to take out the Lantern. Even if they reach the move, we do have a shield. So this is basically locked and loaded for us right here. And I think the opponent realized that, that the Lantern was low enough that Powder Snows can farm down. So I think they force closed the app. And we got an opponent to rage quit. That's how powerful this team is. So I'm very, very happy with the results. That was one set where I went 5-0. And that was like literally my first set with this team. So I'm very pleased. Anyways, we face a lead against Cradilly, and this is very ideal because of counter. Cradilly will do some nice damage to my backline, so I have to keep it away, and having it in the lead is really nice because my Goon does have counter and is able to directly deal with the damage. Now I can take any one move from this Cradilly. If it's the Stone Edge, so be it. And Raichu comes in, and I'm going to throw the Night Slash. If I get a boost, I'll stay in here. And we don't get the boost, so I'm going to come in with the Alolan Marowak and farm all the way down. I want to try to get a head start on energy, and I want to do a Fire Blast Beam because I'm feeling really good. It's game number 6. I feel really good with this team, so I want to do a Fire Blast Beam. We no-shield the Thunder Punch and the Brick Break, so we're able to preserve both shields and be somewhat healthy. Now, I kind of did this absent-mindedly, I'm going to admit, but we're going to Fire Blast to Cradilly. Yeah, so that happened. And there's a Frostlass in the back, and I really shouldn't have done that, because now they're going to outpace me to this energy, and I'm a little bit dry, so that kind of sucked. But luckily, though, we do have the Frostlass Mirror, and we're basically on the same level in terms of energy. I try to catch the Shadow Ball on the Goon, but I think it caught an Avalanche instead, so that's perfectly fine by me. If it means that we're able to get to the Shadow Ball first and empty the energy of the Frostlass, I'll take it. We go straight for the Shadow Ball, a bit of a misplay. I think going for the Avalanche would have been a little bit better, since Avalanche, though resisted, still hits hard. We shield the Frostlass, and it is the Avalanche, so that's perfectly fine on my part. I'm going to now start throwing Avalanches because I realize the Frostlass is getting low, so an Avalanche will KO from this range. And at this rate, the Frostlass is at yet another Avalanche, but after this, they're going to be dry, so I'm going to be able to reach an Avalanche before they do, and that's going to be a good game, very well played to my opponent. Avalanche will KO right there. So yeah, let's just jump right into game number 7. We have 4 more games to go, and I'm looking forward to each and every single one of them. Let's see how this plays out. OBSTAGOON into Powder Snow Alolan Ninetales. We're going to swap out immediately into Alolan Marowak, and we're met with a Jellicent. So, not horrible, because at least we can still fire back with the Shadow Bones, but we will be taking super effective damage from everything except Ice Beam, which I really doubt they'll be throwing. But this is a Bubble Beam Jellicent, so this is not very good for us. Unfortunately, we will have to take 2 Bubble Beams, and we probably will be farmed down here. Now, the Shadow Bone will be coming through. It won't do a ton of damage because of the debuffs, but it still does pretty considerable damage. And we're going to probably come back in here with a Goon, I'm going to presume. Will it be? Yeah, we are going to come back in with the Goon. Unfortunately, we are going to have to take a couple of Bubble Beams, which is very unfortunate. So we're going to get a little bit debuffed here, but that's fine. They get to another one. And this is really annoying. I really don't like this. So yeah, Bubble Beam is going to come through, and we're just going to farm up on as much energy as we want to before they get to a third Bubble Beam. So yeah, that Night Slash is going to take it out. The Ninetales comes back in, we swap into Frostlass, and now we're met with a Ferrothorn. Not great, because Ferrothorn will still do super effective damage with the Steel moves and neutral with the Grass moves, where we only deal neutral with our Ice moves. So I think I'm going to no-shield this Mirror Shot, and it does a lot more than I expect, so I'm a little bit disappointed. At this point, we can now shield the next two moves, so that's good at least. And we get to an Avalanche, but they sneak a Bullet Seed through. So that's 13 free energy. I'm not very happy about that. At this rate, I might commit to the farm down, but I'm not sure if this rate I can, because a Mirror Shot would be devastating. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to. So I should have thrown the Avalanche when I saw it. And at this point, the A9 should be able to reach a Dazzling Gleam if they're running it. Yeah, that's Dazzling Gleam, and that'll do huge super effective damage. So unfortunately, during that set, we did suffer our first loss. But I did go 9-1, so the rest of these should be wins. So I'm looking forward to shoutcasting those. We got Goon into Frostlass, a good lead for us. The Frostlass and I decided to stay in, so we're going to be able to get to this Night Slash, and this will be doing super effective damage to the Frostlass. So obviously it's going to get shielded, and we get to another one, but they decide to do an amazing catch onto the Vigoroth right there. Now we're energy drying the Obstagoon, and the Frostlass has a ton of energy. Well, we're going to come in with the Alolan Marowak. We can soak a Bulldoze. That's possibly coming through. No, it's just going to be the Body Slam, and that's even better for us. I should have just committed to the Fire Spin down, but unfortunately I preemptively clicked on the Shadow Bone. But my opponent does get the defense drop, so that does mean they're not going to be able to get another move in, and we do get some farm back. And Alolan Golem decides to come in, and this is a pretty bad matchup for me, but I can fire back with these Shadow Bones, and as you can see, the opponent does decide to shield right there. We're not quite able to get to the next one, but because I know I'm there, I want to actually be able to fire this off. So I shield the Alolan Marowak, and a Frostlass comes in to take the damage. And because the Frostlass caught the Shadow Bone, it's basically game over, because we have a perfectly healthy Obstagoon with counter, able to counter down the Rock-type Alolan Graveler. So that's a good game to my opponent, very well played. Alright, we're in the next game, and we pick up a lead against Shadow Dragonite. This is not great for us, because Frostlass is our only response, and we're basically forced to stay in here with the Obstagoon. We are going to throw the Night Slash, it comes through, and we get the boost, and this is huge for us, as we just flipped a potentially negative matchup. We're going to shield the Dragon Claw that comes through, and the opponent recognizes that we're going to win Switch. So they come in with a Vigoroth to soak the damage. We're going to throw the Night Slash again, get ourselves nice and low, and come in with the Alolan Marowak. I want to save the Obstagoon as a potential sack swap in the endgame, if it allows. Bulldoze is going to come through on the Vigoroth's end, and that doesn't do a whole lot of damage, so I don't need to really shield it. I throw the Shadow Bone, hoping for a defense drop, but we get no such luck. Vigoroth is going to throw again, but I think it's just a Body Slam, and I will be able to tank it. Counter will not be able to farm me down, and we have successfully re-won Switch. The Dragonite comes back in, and for some ungodly reason, I decide to throw the Shadow Bone, but the Dragonite lets it through. Let's see what's in the back. It's a Tropius, and this is game over because Frostlass is dealing double super effective damage with the Ice moves. And that is a good game, very well played to my opponent. And I think this is the last battle right here, so here we go, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the double sets. Let me know if you would like me to do something like this again in the future, as I'd be so willing to. Anyways, we pick up a lead against Talonflame, and Talonflame in general is just really bad for my team. All my Pokemon struggle against Talonflame because the fire moves on Alolan Marowak are resisted, counters are resisted on the Goon, and Frostlass is weak to fire. I decide to come in with the Alolan Marowak and try to catch but unfortunately they throw the nuke. In comes a Vigoroth, and this actually isn't too terrible for me, as I can shield this Body Slam and potentially get to a Fire Blast to re-win Switch. Am I able to get there? We get to the Fire Blast! Now, the important thing, do they shield? They do not shield, and I'm able to win back Switch advantage. That's so good for me. Talonflame does get a little bit of farm in, but that's quite okay, as I can still come in with the OBSTAGOON, who has a halfway decent matchup against the Talonflame. We decide to let the Flame Charge come through, and my goal is to bank a move on Goon and snipe with Frostlass. The Night Slash comes through, and it gets a shield. I come in with the Frostlass, successfully banking a Night Slash on the Goon, but the Talonflame decides to throw, so I'm forced to shield this move. And they have a Trevenant in the back. Now this is really, really scary for me, as the Shadow Claws are doing so much damage to me. Luckily though, it was CMP, so the Trevenant can only get to his Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb does not KO from this range, and we get to Powder Snow a little bit more. I let 2 Shadow Claws go through because I know that OBSTAGOON triply resists Ghost moves. We get to the Night Slash, which takes out the Trevenant, and 1 counter is enough to finish out the Talonflame. So that's a good game to my opponent, very well played. Overall, these were some great battles and some great games, and I surely had a lot of fun using this team. I definitely recommend it if you're still in the Holiday Cup and looking for a team to get you high up in the ranks. Other than that, thanks so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a happy holiday.